Now take a look at some of the other stories that are making headlines here in the country. The Kenya National Human Rights Commission and the Law Society of Kenya are set to file a report of a stalemate in talks to end the doctor strike. Talks between doctors and the government were adjourned on Friday as parties yet again failed to reach a consensus. Mediators blamed the stalemate on the failure by the parties to drop their hardline stance. Parties are expected in the appeals court tomorrow at the expiry of a seven-day window given last week to resolve the deadlock. This is despite an ultimatum given by the mediators, who are the Kenya National Commission on Human Rights and the Law Society of Kenya, calling for a softening of positions by the doctors and the government. The doctors say they are frustrated and dismayed at the government has refused to improve the offer it gave to the health workers. But the government has said implementing what the doctors want will cost as much as the entire national budget. The talks were granted 7 days after the appeal court judges Fatuma Sichale, Okwengu and Kantai Sankale allowed the request by the mediation team to finalize on the negotiations. The 7 days are given elapse today. Let's now speak to our reporter, health reporter, Dr. Mercy Korir, now joining us via way of phone. Dr. Mercy, the 7-day window elapses today. We have seen so many times these talks have elapsed. Is there any hope that by the end of today or tomorrow there would be something different from what we've witnessed for the past 3 months?
Good afternoon, Akisa. Well, these talks have been very unpredictable because every day comes with its own different challenges, with its own new findings. And as of today, what we know officially is that there is a stalemate between the government and the doctors as per the mediators, that is the Law Society of Kenya and the KNHCR, Kenya National Commission on Human Rights. That was as of Friday. And they are expected to file their report tomorrow in court, and the court is expected to give way forward on now how to end the strike or how to end the stalemate. But there have been other informal meetings to try and resolve the stalemate. But well, these have just been informal, and there's been nothing concrete and promising from this talk. So we solely rely now on the mediators and what we will hear from the court tomorrow. But as you've said, the doctors have said that on different occasions they have ceded ground while the government has held its position, therefore making it really difficult for either parties to move and come up with a solution that will unlock the stalemate. Akisa.
What are some of the likely scenarios we're expected to see once the mediation teams and, of course, the doctors' union go back to court tomorrow?
Well, if they go back to court tomorrow, we expect that the court will give a way forward or an arbitration, either to ask the doctors to go back to work so that talks can continue while the doctors are back to work, or compel the doctors to take whatever offer that the government has been issuing. Alternatively, if an agreement is reached before tomorrow, between the doctors and the government, then we expect that the doctors will have a form of CBA that they've been looking for, that can be registered, and an offer that will return them back to work, and probably a favorable return to work formula. And that's what I think all and most of us Kenyans are hoping for, so that the public health care services can resume.
Dr. Paint a picture for us on what the past 3 months have been for the doctors as they journey towards the reforms and the implementation of the collective bargaining agreement signed in 2013, as well as the situation for the common mwananchi who depends on these public services in hospitals across the country.
Okay, let me start with what the journey has been like for the common mwananchi who's been unable to access services. We have Kenyans who are living in border towns who have had to cross to neighboring countries, that's Uganda and Tanzania, for those who are within those regions, to seek any form of public health care services. Those that are not able to cross have been seeking services at private health care facilities, which the costs are quite prohibitive for most Kenyans. And this has called on harambes and many fundraisings in order for some of these people to be able to access some of the basic services. And obviously, we've noted that many people have lost lives. Many people have lost their breadwinners, where we have some mortuary registries, while in a previous time, at the same period, there would be like about 200. Now they're registering almost 600 deaths within the 2 months. So it's been really a painful journey and a tough journey for the common wananchi. As for the doctors, we have seen that their resolve has grown from strength to strength since the strike began. We've seen the doctors' unity. We've seen, remember when the top 7 officials had been jailed and there was a closure of private healthcare facilities for 48 hours. This was unprecedented, and this was in support of the doctors and a retaliation to the government for jailing these doctors. So we've seen that the doctors have really grown stronger in terms of their unity and in terms of their call for a CBA, a document that at least will be legal and binding. Obviously, we've seen the few times when there have been Senate hearings, parliamentary hearings that have tried to cast aspersions on the CBA. But for the doctors, they've really remained united, and their message has been very strong on the CBA. Right. We've seen the doctors on social media, and so we've seen that this has really been an unprecedented strike, not only in Kenya, but could be in the world over. Akisa.
Dr. Masi, thank you very much for joining us. That is an in-house doctor who's closely been following up on the doctor's strike that has lasted almost 3 months now. And of course, she's joining us via way of phone. We'll be seeing what happens tomorrow as the deadline ends or reaches on today. The Standard